Hello everyone. In this video we are going to look at how to use vfprintf. vfprintf is basically you could use them for saving a file with a variable argument on it. Basically it can be used for storing a debug information. So if you have a long C program that you are writing, and if you wanted to store debug text along with some variable information on whatever the results are inside the code, those things you can just put everything into the file by using this vfprintf, but that needs va list, va start, and va end standard arguments as well to be used. So let us go and to this program. So I'll just open a file first. So for that I will create a main function, and the main function is returning void, returning int, and so just return 0 at the end. So here basically I will open a file, and I create a file first called p file, and then I will open a file name inside. So basically, so this p file I will just save it to fopen. I just opened the file, so I call this file as my I will call them as my vfprintf file dot text file. So if I try to save them, and then basically I will open them as a write only file. So basically this f file can be used here now, and then before I write some functions which will be writing this, I will be doing it in between. So now at the end I will be doing this p file. I will be closing this p file that's been created as an instance. Okay, so now this is where I will be writing this. So basically how I wanted to write this is, so if I have a function called write, I will be passing this file name that I need to write, and then I'll be passing whatever the strings I need to type, and this string will contain inside %d or %s, %c, whatever the C standard printfs are supporting. So similarly this write will accept those characters and will be passing those variables at the end. So variable 1 or whatever the variables that we'll be passing. So this is how this the write is going to work, and I'm going to write call this write here. So I will create a function write which will be using this vfprintf here. So let us call the write function, and the return type for this write is because it doesn't return anything. So and then I call this function as write. And basically, as I said earlier, this will be accepting a file stream as an input, and then it will pass your arguments, which is const is not going to this internal function is not going to touch that, and const char, and this is the format it is going to pass, and then your arguments are variable. So the arguments here could be anything. So because as I said, inside the file the string, it could pass any number of argument. All these argument we wanted to save them in the file. Yeah, so this is how your write function is going to look like, and we are going to write that write function inside. So for that, since we are accepting this variables or unlimited, or it's not defined how many variables are. So for that case, if you are using this 3 dot characters, basically you need to pass create a va list, because this is where this is a placeholder basically for storing this va arguments. and we pass this create this VA list first, and then we need to start it, and when you start it, that is when it is initializing the arguments list. So whatever the arguments you are passing along with this string, that will be started, or that will be initialized in this start. So basically the arguments for this VA start is the arguments list, which is the VA list here, and then your string that is being passed. So the string contains your variables as well, and that is where we start this. And then after you use it, we need to end this VA list, because the VA list is basically creating some variables, and that is the reason. So sorry, this is aux. No, yeah. So I think this error should go away. So okay, so whatever the VA list you created, that is allocating some memory. That memory we are freeing up here. So that's exactly what we are doing. Okay, so this is where we are going to use this vfprintf function. So vfprintf, as I said, this should we need to pass the file here. So the file pointer is the stream. So we pass this file pointer here as the stream, and then we pass our string as well, whatever we passed here. So this string called format is being passed here as well. Along with that, we pass the arguments agrs aux list that we created, listed, and then started it here. So this is exactly what we what this function should look like. So as I said earlier, this vfprintf is being used for printing a string along with some variable names on it. So it is typically used for storing debug information, for example, with whatever the results in between are. So for example, I have two variables, int var and called var1. So let us assume that I have var is 1 2 3 4 and var1 is 5 6 7 8. So now I want to store this information into a file. So I just write it, and I just tell where it has to store first, and then I need to give a string. So my debug info, I call it as my debug info with for where at info value of where is say %d, and then I give where value here. So similarly, my debug info for var1 is I say var1, okay, and then at the end I just go to the next line, so that at least I can see that it is being printed in the next lines. Okay, so that's it, guys. So basically this is the write function. It's a debug function I'm using just because this whatever the contents are, I wanted to store them into the file. Say for example, if you have multiple functions and those function informations as well. Say for example, I have another function called function1, and that is also initializing some other function. So let us say void function1, and this function1 void again, and I just create this function here down below, and here that function also is wanted to store some information. So now let us assume this my debug, so here I say I just put the line as well in here just to see because which the line this is storing this information on, and then I just say int func variable or something, and then I say this function variable is 3 4 6 7 for example, and then I just print this information as well. And before that I wanted to store where this line is as well, so that this is just my debug info for info in function 1 where value is %d. So and then basically it's going to print out okay, and this is p file, and p file is being used here. So let us make this as a global value here, so that it can be closed after this. So I just call this as static, so that I can use them in the function below as well. Okay, so this p file, and now okay, and the function 1, 3 places I'm storing this info, and this info should be there in this my vfprintf.txt. So let us go and build this and run this code now. So let me just build this. So gcc, I just call this ex50.c file, and then *o, and then I call this out function, so out executable as out. So now I call out. Okay, so once I do out is which I'm running the out there, and then once I do this, you can see this. I've got my vfprintout.txt. So I can do cat. And then I can just print this file, my vfprintf, and you can see that my debug info, it has printed, which is 1 2 3 4, which is in the main function, and then my debug info value where 1 is stored in there as well, and my debug info in function 1. So these 3 things are being stored here. So if I go, so I just put them into the cat, but instead I can just go and open this as well in the function. So basically I have this content here, and then if I try to open them in a notepad, you could see this contents have been saved. So this is pretty much useful, guys. So basically this vfprintf, if you make this vfprintf and a write function like this, and then you can write your content. So when you're debugging your code, this information, whatever is we are printing in, it will be saved in this file, and you can go and check it at later time what values, so that it will be used for your debugging purposes. Okay, and this is quite useful, and for that you just need to write a function with this vfprintf, and that can be used for your debugs. So that's it, guys. I hope this is useful for you, and many thanks for looking at this video, and please give a thumbs up if you like this, or any comments, so that I can learn from you. Thank you very much. Bye.